Alright, we're skipping up to 6-8, graphing radical functions. You're going to see that this is similar to what we did with absolute value, where we got a v, quadratics, where we had the u. Now we're going to look at graphing the square root function right here, and we're going to get what I call the swoosh. Okay, and that's how it's similar. How is graphing the radical function similar to graphing a power function? They all have their own little thing as far as being a v, a u, or whatever. But we're using the same deal here, as we're going to still start from the origin. That's going to be our central point, our starting point that we're going to talk about here. The square root function, f of x or y, equals a. Remember that a tells us kind of a steepness, kind of a slope. It also tells us if you open up or down, figuratively speaking. Inside the radical, we move right or left opposite. Okay, whether it was absolute value, whether it's parentheses squared, or whether it's the square root radical sign, we're still moving right or left opposite of what you would think there. This is like setting it equal to 0 and solving for h. You end up going the opposite. You get the opposite sign. And if anything's added or subtracted out here, if you add, you go up. If it's minus, you go down. And it's all starting from the origin. So the basic graph of y equals the square root of x looks just like this. Now, why does it look like this? Why does it start at the origin? Why isn't there anything to the left over here? Because you can't put a negative x in here. We can't take the square root of a negative. So the earliest you can start there is at 0, okay, when it's just the square root of x. And then if you were to plug in 1 here for x, what do you get for y? The square root of 1 is 1, so you go up 1, 1. If you plug in 4, the square root is 2, so 4, 2. So what happens is you start getting this bending arc out here, and I call it a swoosh. Okay, if it's a name you can identify with, it makes it easier to remember. Good for you, but it's like that Puma swoosh that you see on the Puma shoes. If you subtract 2 and it's outside the radical, then we're going down 2. Same swoosh, okay, because our a is still 1. A is still 1. Opposite, so I'm going to go 2 to the right, up 1, boom, put my swoosh in. Okay, we don't have to be perfect with points out here, because right now we're not going to, we're not doing anything where it has to be. Just get the swoosh going in the right direction and we're good. Okay. Let's take a look at another one here, kind of combine everything in it. We want to graph this right here. So here we are. We want to graph. So I look at my a. First it's negative. So instead of my swoosh going up and to the right, it's going to go down and to the right. Okay? It's that reflection of it. It's 1/2, so the steepness is going to be a little flatter. It's not going to be as deep coming down. It's going to be a little flatter. We're going to move 3 places to the right and up 1, so there's our starting point right there. Okay? And then I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. Boom. There's my graph. Okay? It's going down because it's negative. It flattened a little bit rather than going deeper and then coming here. I flattened it a little bit because I got a negative 1/2 there. I moved it 3 to the right and up 1 because of here. Okay, so a lot of the same points of what we've been talking about here. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we'll look at some more of this tomorrow in class. Get after it there. All right, see you then. Bye.